Hello, all. Hope I'm audible. Good evening. Hope this webinar is reaching you with good health. And welcome to the new webinar of the series. The series is called Swasthyam, and it's an initiative for people who are new here. It's an initiative which aims at creating awareness about holistic health and wellness. And we talk straight from the Ayurveda classics, from the textbooks, and so there is absolutely no scope for fake information. So let's talk about authentic Ayurveda and some of the health benefits what we can take in our day-to-day life from the lifestyle recommendations made by Ayurveda. So this is Dr. Soumya, and I'm associate professor and consultant in general medicine of Ayurveda. So today, about coming to the topic of today's webinar, when it comes to food, we all very well know what impact it could have on our health. All right, so it is one of the two important things which is taken into our bodies from the outside. Like, the human body has connection with the outside world in many ways, and some of those ways could affect your health very directly. uh, and few things could be like food, water, air, and such of the kind. So it could be a direct impact on our body, but the good thing is it is one factor which is completely under our control, and we can get to decide what goes into our body or what must be avoided. So that is the exact point, in fact, explained in the guidelines under the everyday diet concept in Ayurveda textbooks. So this is the topic of today's webinars as to what is supposed to be consumed every day, which has to be included in the everyday diet, and which shouldn't be included in the everyday diet, which can be kept occasional. So next, moving on to the things which has to be taken in everyday basis. All right. Um, so what are to be consumed every day? All right. Next, please. So some of the things, the first one in the list being something called as the Shashtika Shali. So now what is the Shashtika Shali? It's very important to understand what is the Shashtika Shali about. Some people market it in the name of Navara rice. You might have heard of this, Indian version of rice called as Navara rice. Some people tell it as the red variety of rice, the red rice, the unpolished variety of red rice. This variety of rice, why is it called as Shashtika Shali? First of all, is that it is harvested in 60 days. Shashtika is 60. So it is harvested in 60 days. So what is the speciality of this rice, and why do we have to consume it every day? So there are many reasons for it, right from the contemporary research concepts, and also the Ayurveda, Gunakarma concepts, the quality concepts. So the first important thing is it's a very good rich source of natural carbohydrates. It's a good source of carbs, and and having said that, doesn't mean it is very high in sugar levels and doesn't affect you very directly, because it's a thing which helps in glycemic control as well. Okay. So anything which is high in glycemic index and low in glycemic index is what generally matters when it is consumed by a diabetic person. When a person who has diabetes mellitus has to regularly think about such things as to which has high carbs and which is having a good glycemic index. So that has to be kept in mind. So this is one thing which is very low on glycemic index and helps in the glycemic control. Okay. So, and apart from all that, it is very important to note that it is light for digestion. It is not very heavy on your tummy. All right. It has very less scope of causing indigestion, and it is and causing ama and toxin buildup in the gut and all that. So it is very light for digestion, and hence it is suitable for everyday use. All right. It is a very good source of dietary fiber, I must say. So it keeps your gut good, helps in digestion. All right. And there are many other reasons. There are a lot of researches which is being done in this particular rice called as the Shashtika Shali, and it has something called as the GABA, the gamma aminobutyric acid, and it has a lot of nutrients. And apart from the carbs, so it has you have a lot of reasons to consume Shashtika Shali on the everyday basis, and even if you take it as red rice, which is available for us to be consumed. All right. So the next thing is the yava or the barley. All right. It's generally called as barley. And what is the speciality of barley? Occasionally, we might consume it during some of the urinary complaints, or you might consume it when the health it is upset, or when it's only prescribed by the doctor. But very rarely we know that barley is something which is to be taken every day. Okay. Basically, because it is one thing, it can prevent diabetes mellitus. It is, even if the patient is a person is already a diabetic, it is good for the glycemic management. And most importantly, for people who have weight issues, who are obese, who are overweight and need to control their weight, it is very good for weight management. All right, because it is something which is slightly very low on glycemic index, of course, but it is something which keeps a person full and doesn't add to your calories. That is another thing. So it helps in controlling weight, and alongside, another important thing is it helps in controlling bad cholesterols as well. So barley is something, again, what you can include in your everyday diet. The next thing, uh, of course, it is not surprising, but definitely one thing which we forget to consume every day maybe is madhu, or it is nothing but the honey, the raw honey, which is sourced from an unadulterated source. It is very good to have it every day, and there are numerous reasons to consume honey every day, because it is rich in antioxidants, it has a lot of nutritive value, it has very good vitamins and mineral sources in it. It is rich in flavonoids. So this flavonoids is something which is uh, you know uh, some variety of flavonoids are not uh, found in so many of the food articles, but honey is something which is very rich in flavonoids. And there are many other reasons. It reduces triglycerides, it reduces the low density lipoproteins, what we call, which is the in common terms it is called as bad cholesterol. So it reduces the bad cholesterols, in fact, and increases the good cholesterol, which is again called as the HDL, high density lipoproteins. So it helps in increasing HDL also alongside. And of course, once it helps in triglycerides and cholesterol and stuff, it automatically helps in the weight management also. In fact, honey is something which is regularly used even in the practice, everyday practice, and it is one of the main diet which is prescribed for weight management. We advise it to take it every day, especially for people who have weight issues. So it is a best thing to have 1 or 2 teaspoons of honey every day, of course in the raw form, or in mixed with plain water. Okay, it is not to be consumed with hot water. Again, that's one of the mistakes what people generally do. We advise them to take honey, and they straight away, for weight management, they read it from various sources, and they start taking it with hot water. But one thing what you have to keep in mind is that honey should never be heated. All right, it is something which shouldn't be heated at all. So make sure that you either have plain honey, uh, just like that, 1 or 2 spoons any time of the day, or you can definitely have with plain water, but never heat it either directly or indirectly. So apart from all this, honey also has many varieties of minerals. It has a lot of bioactive constituents, and it has a lot of benefits per se. So it is very important to include honey in your diet, but provided you are sure about the source of honey, make sure it is unadulterated, and then you can definitely have it. All right. So the next thing which has to be included in your diet is the mudga. So what is this mudga about? Mudga is nothing but the green gram. All right. So why is this green gram? Of course, we know that it is rich in protein and things like that. But apart from that, why does it become so important, and why does it stand out among all the other sources of proteins and carbs and other dals? Basically, you take black gram, or any other grams, tur dal and any other gram dals. It generally stands out from all of that. But why is that? The most important thing is that according to Ayurveda, it is laghu. Laghu it is light as in not in weight, but for digestion. All right. So it is light for digestion. It is not heavy on your gut. All right. It can digest easily when compared to many other dicotyledons, and it is definitely low in glycemic index. Again, it is high in fiber, and keeping all this in mind, in fact, this green gram is one of the very good alternate to many other varieties of dals what we use on everyday basis. So we can definitely include it either in the salads, or in the curries we make, or any other important things. We can definitely include green gram in the everyday diet. So the next thing what can be taken for everyday is the something called as Jangala Mamsa. So I think this is something which has to be understood properly, because not everyone who is not familiar with Sanskrit knows the meaning of these terms exactly. So we'll have to definitely explain it more vividly. And here, Jangala Mamsa can be explained as the meat of animals, the animals which are growing in the arid regions. Now, what are arid regions? Is that in Ayurveda we call it as Jangala Pradesha, and Jangala Pradesha is where generally it is very dry. Where the rainfall is less and there is sparse greenery. Such. Something similar to desert regions. So the animals which are dwelling in those kind of areas are good for everyday consumption. This is what Ayurveda recommends. The best example for this, of course, is the goat meat, which is called as ajamamsa in Ayurveda, of course, because again it is light for digestion, and the animals dwelling in these arid regions are generally told to be very light for digestion. They're not heavy on the gut again. So, and they're good source of protein. So Jangala Mamsa is something which is recommended for everyday usage. The next thing is the Amalaka. So Amalaka is nothing but of course, many of you could have heard it in common terms called Amla, and which is also called as the Indian gooseberry, or which is commonly available, of course. And why this? N n number of reasons again. It is richest source of vitamin C, and it helps in iron absorption. Because it is rich in vitamin C, it helps in iron absorption. It has a very good anti-diabetic effect. There is hardly any formulation which is used for diabetes treatment which is devoid of Indian gooseberry. Okay, so it is strong in antioxidants, and it has this constituent called ambilicanin. So this ambilicanin is something which is a very strong antioxidant. So it has very good anti-aging property, of course. And in Ayurveda also, it is described as vayasthapana, that it is having capacity of preventing early signs of agings. It is rejuvenative. It has the capacity of controlling all the three doshas. Okay, vata, pitta, and kapha, what we call it, has the capacity of controlling all the three doshas. So or balancing, I would say. So it has almost all the rasas except one. So it has various benefits. Even when it comes to the modern researchers or the Ayurveda related properties, it is definitely one of the best things to take every day. But again, it is seasonal. So one thing what we can follow is it can be consumed freshly. The fresh fruit can be consumed in the seasons, like November, December, and Jan, and in the winter times. And apart from that, you can have it in the form of dried fruits, and powders are anyway available throughout the year. So we can definitely include that in the diet. So the next thing is the Saindava Lavana. Saindava Lavana is nothing but the pink Himalayan pink salt, what we call, or the rock salt. So generally, this Himalayan pink salt is devoid of any sort of additives. All right, so it has many trace elements. It has trace elements like calcium, zinc, potassium, magnesium, and many of that sort. And even when it comes to Ayurveda, it is very light and has the capacity of balancing all the three doshas again. It might be a little surprising, but it is mentioned that Himalayan pink salt is capable of balancing all the three doshas. It helps in digestion, in fact. So again, the Himalayan pink salt or the Saindavalavana is something which can be included in the everyday diet. Definitely one of the kind, and we can definitely replace it alongside the sea salt and other forms of salts. The next thing is the something called as the Antariksha Jala. Okay, so what is this Antariksha Jala? Antariksha Jala is nothing but the rainwater. I mean, this could be a something surprising for people to recommend rainwater for everyday consumption, because but definitely Ayurveda says it is the best form of water. It's the purest form, in fact. So collecting rainwater, uh, in the copper vessel or the silver vessels are also recommended for it, and consuming it could be one of the best alternate for any other source of water. Okay, of course, you'll have to work a little to collect the rainwater when it comes to everyday consumption, because it doesn't rain every day, of course. But again, storage is the key. And why rainwater is because, again, Ayurveda texts say that it has the capacity of balancing all the three doshas, the vata, pitta, and kapha in the body. So this is, and among all the other types of water sources, whether it is lake, pond, river, any sort of well, whatever water sources, uh, rainwater is told to be the best. Okay, of course, it could be a challenge to collect purest form of rainwater in with the amount of pollution going around these days, but definitely that is one of the good choices. So the next important thing what could be consumed every day is, of course, this is not surprising, it is the kshira here refers to the cow's milk, not only the milk of any other source, but precisely the cow's milk. All right, so why cow's milk? Because of course it is definitely called as the complete food. One thing, it is a rich source of calcium, it is rich source of many other vitamins and minerals, you know that. And it has presence of essential amino acids, sorry, fatty acids. So it has these essential fatty acids which could help you with various health benefits. All right, so whenever milk is mentioned, so it is uh, taken as cow's milk itself in the Ayurveda textbook. All right, otherwise if it is other sources of milk, it is definitely going to be mentioned in specific. So again, what are the properties of milk according to Ayurveda is that it is again, it is rejuvenative, it is strengthening, it is good for bone health, and all that. The next thing what is to be included in everyday diet is the sarpi. Sarpi is again the cow's ghee, or which is commonly called as the clarified butter. Ayurveda experts can't emphasize the importance of ghee enough, because I'm sure all of us would know about it. We use it for a lot of treatments as well. It is rich in butyric acid, it is antioxidant, it is good for bone health, it has a lot of essential fatty acids, and it has a lot of things. And ghee is something which takes the property of the herbs which is boiled in it, which is uh, you know um, uh, we tell it as processing. So with whatever herbs we process the ghee, it takes the property of that, and it helps in microcirculations as well. And many of the fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, K are all good for the body, and it is absorbed through the medium of ghee itself. And another important reason is that okay, so am I audible now? Am I audible now? Okay, so ghee, yeah, I'll am I audible now? Could I explain the ghee again? Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so cow's ghee is something which takes the properties of the herbs which is processed with. Okay, so it helps in microcirculation, it helps in bone health, it is rich in butyric acid and antioxidants and things like that. So it is again good for digestion, and it is good for the memory and intellect. So it has a lot of properties. I'll share the information with you again in the Ayurdynamic app, so you can go through it. So the core message here is, all the above food materials which is mentioned are the ones which has a lot of health benefits, both in par with modern concept of nutrition and as well as Ayurveda related properties. And interesting is all of these are the ones which are considered best in their own categories. All right. So this was about the things to be consumed every day. So the next, going to the things which shouldn't be consumed every day, which has to be avoided, not completely though, but not definitely not for everyday consumption. So the first one would be the something called as the shushka, shaka, and mamsa. Shushka is dry, shaka are the vegetables, and mamsa is the meat. So dried meat and vegetables, of course, which is stored for a long time, which is having drying properties and not good for digestion, can cause vata disturbance in the body. So it has to be definitely avoided. The next thing is the bisa or the lotus stalk, lotus stem. So it is again very drying, can disturb vata, and it can be a home for various germs being aquatic in origin. So that is one reason why lotus stem should be avoided for everyday usage. The next thing is very surprising though. It is kurchika and kilata. So what are these kurchika and kilata? It is something which resembles cheese, paneer kind of things. These varieties of cheese and things like that, because they are quite heavy for digestion. They may not be recommended for everyday use. They'll definitely take toll on your digestion. It is guru in nature. It can, it is definitely, unless and until one is very sure about the digestive capacity, one shouldn't be taking it every day. The next is the gavya and mahisha mamsa. That is, in general, the beef, is being talked about here, and but we can take it in general as the red meat. Okay, so recent studies have definitely shown that red meat is one of the common causes of colorectal cancers these days. It is insanely heavy for digestion, and it can take a toll on your gut. So definitely it is not for everyday consumption. The next thing is the dadi or the curd. Okay, so why curd? Because this could be surprising for few people as to why curd shouldn't be taken for everyday usage, because it is again very heavy for digestion. It can increase the doshas called vata and pitta in the body, kapha and pitta in the body. And it is again something which can clog the small pathways of the body, which is called as shrotas. In other terms, it is called as abhishanti, which can occlude or form obstructions in the pathways of the body, I can say. And but yeah, what is the alternative? You can definitely have buttermilk as an alternate option. That's in my opinion, it's a very good option for everyday usage. The next thing is the masha. Okay, so masha is nothing but the black gram, or which in Indian context we call it as the urad dal. All right, so why this? People may see it as a rich source of protein. Of course it is. Then why not for the everyday usage? Because it's quite heavy for digestion. Most of them are used, black gram is used for fermentation, and then it is used, which can cause disturbance with the skin and the gut. And they can cause various diseases which are related to the doshas, again, like kapha and pitta. To be precise, it can cause, again, as I told you, skin disturbance and the gut disturbances as well. So again, black gram, urad dal, to be avoided for everyday use. The next thing is the matsya, or the fish related animals like the seafood. It's definitely not good for skin related issues. This can be because seafood, especially the ones like prawns and shrimps, and which is called as chilichima in Ayurveda, are mostly incompatible with many other food items. Like fish and milk is the most incompatible food combination, which is can cause skin problems. So this matsya related or the aquatic, seafood related should be avoided every day. So in general, we can see that most of those food which are not recommended for daily usage are either excessively heavy for digestion, or they are having drying and this ruksha kind of effect on the body. All right. So the next, what we have to know is, why do we have to understand this? I mean, in other words, whom does this apply to? Who has to understand this? It is definitely only the healthy people. All right. So this information of food to be consumed every day and not to be taken every day is the only for the healthy people, rather to the apparently healthy people. Because further, then what about the people? What about people who have health conditions or who are deceased? They have their specific do's and don'ts mentioned for that particular health condition, and that comes under the explanation of a heading called patya and apatya. That is what to be done and what to be not done. So every disease has that explanation, and this is something which are to be followed. The above explanation, what we just discussed, is only for the healthy people. All right, so that has to be kept in mind. So if you're sure your health is quite okay, then definitely to maintain health, you have to follow these above guidelines. Okay, so I hope now that we have got an idea as to what we can include and exclude from the everyday diet. If got any questions, we'll be really glad to answer your questions in the follow-up session happening tomorrow at the same time, from 7 onwards. And yeah, you can post your questions in the Ayurdynamic app. There's a question and answer section there, and you can definitely post your questions there, and we'll definitely try to answer them tomorrow. Anything related to Ayurveda, anything related to the today's webinar, or anything related to disease in particular, about anything related to health, kindly post your queries, and we'll definitely try to answer them at our best. And it was really lovely talking to you people, and yeah. Thank you for joining Swasthyam, a step to holistic living again. Yeah, is it okay to filter the rainwater? Yeah, definitely it is okay to filter the rainwater and have, unless and until you're sure you're collecting it in a pollution-free area and in a vessel which is not adulterated, or in a vessel which is not impure or unclean. So if any questions, you can definitely post it in the Ayurdynamic app. I'll send you the link of the Ayurdynamic app again. Thank you so much.